Broadcasting live from the Albay PIO News Center, providing you the most exclusive news update from all over the province. This is 12 o'clock Newsbreak. In the local scene, 3 government agencies collaborated to provide livelihood assistance to informal sector workers in the province. DOLE, along with the Department of Agriculture and Technical Education and Skills Development Authority, or TESDA, distributed a slew of livelihood grants to low-income vendors, farmers, and skilled workers. A total of 225 vendors received a Nego card from DOLE. Likewise, TESDA provided toolkits worth 1 million pesos to the graduates. TESDA Provincial Director Arcangel Rodriguez said that the provision of toolkits and skills training was part of the TESDA program that addresses specific skills needs, promoting employment through entrepreneurial, self-employment, and service-oriented activities. In other story, the provincial government of Catanduanes started constructing a halfway house for women and their children who are victims of sexual abuse. After its completion, the facility, named Bahay ni Neneng, will offer a haven for survivors of rape and related crimes, according to Provincial Social Welfare and Development Officer Maria Rosella Navar. Navar said the residential care facility will also provide support for the development of the capacity of its temporary occupants. The facility has been allotted a budget of 10 million pesos from the provincial coffers and is currently under construction in San Isidro village, located in the capital town of Virac. In other news, the Department of Social Welfare and Development, DSWD, launched a program in Bicol integrating the Water Access, Sanitation, and Hygiene, or WASH program, with a supplementary feeding program, SFP, in Children Development Centers, CDCs. The initiative aims to train children development workers, CDWs, in promoting good sanitation practices among SFP beneficiaries and fostering behavior shift towards proper hygiene. The inaugural training was held in the town of Del Gallego in Camarines Sur early this month, said Maria Cristina Florendo, SFP Regional Focal Person. The training enhances CDW skills and knowledge to care for children. In the national scene, Vice President Sara Duterte on Thursday said any advice she may have for televangelist Apollo Kibuloy would no longer matter, following the arrest order issued by the Senate against him. Duterte instead has said that SMNI, a media network associated with Kibuloy, should consult its lawyers. The president or the vice president earlier said she was siding with Kibuloy's call for justice, following various accusations against him, adding that his supposed guilt could have been predetermined. In other story, the lawyers of former Senator Leila de Lima asked the Muntinlupa City Regional Trial Court, Branch 206, to acquit her as the prosecution failed to prove her guilt beyond reasonable doubt. The amended demurrer to evidence filed by the camp of De Lima stated that the testimonies of the witnesses in the illegal drug trading case were hearsay. It also noted that the credibility of the witnesses was impeached as they are convicted criminals. De Lima's lawyers from Rigoroso Galindez and Rubino Law Offices said that most of the important evidence of the prosecution were already presented during the bail hearing, and inconsequential witnesses who are convicted criminals still serving their sentences were presented during the trial. In other news, Some schools with reported irregularities in the implementation of the expanded government assistance to students and teachers in private education, or ICASTPE, have started refunding the government subsidies afforded to them, the Department of Education DepEd said Thursday, March 21. This comes after Commission on Audits (COA) 2016 and 2018 reports that some ghost students or undocumented students have availed of the government program. DepEd spokesperson Undersecretary Michael Pawa said that GASTPE intends to address congestion in public schools by providing subsidies to underprivileged learners who transfer to private schools. And in the news outside the country, Taiwan's top security official said on Thursday, March 21, he does not currently recommend President Tsai Ing-wen visit the South China Sea given the possible risks to her flight from interference by relevant countries, given China's military presence. Both Taiwan and China claim most of the South China Sea as their own territory, but Taiwan only controls one main islet in the contested Spratly Islands deep in the southern part of the sea called Ituaba, which Taiwan refers to as Taiping Island. Some lawmakers from both the ruling and the main opposition parties have called on Tsai to visit Ituaba before she steps down in May to assert Taiwan's sovereignty and view a newly renovated harbor that can take larger ships. In other story, Donald Trump's election campaign reported on Wednesday, March 20, that it raised $10.9 million in February, according to a financial disclosure submitted to the Federal Election Commission. The fundraising haul was an increase from $8.8 million that Trump's campaign reported for January. Trump clinched enough delegates this month to be the Republican Party's nominee to face Democratic incumbent Joe Biden in the November presidential election. Trump has trailed Biden in fundraising throughout the campaign cycle, and Biden's campaign is also due later on Wednesday to report to the Federal Election Commission on its finances. And finally, in the news outside the country, fertility rates in nearly all countries will be too low to sustain population levels by the end of the century. And most of the world's live births will be occurring in poorer countries, according to a study published on Wednesday, March 20. The trend will lead to a baby boom and baby bust across the world. Boom concentrated in low-income countries more susceptible to economic and political instability. Senior researcher Emil Volsit from the Institute of Health Metrics and Evaluation at the University of Washington in Seattle said in a statement. The study reported in the Lancet Project's 155 of 204 countries and territories worldwide, or 76%, will have fertility rates below population replacement levels by 2050. By 2100, that is expected to rise to 198 or 97%, researchers estimated. And that's all for the 12 o'clock news break, March 22, 2024. We'll be right back next week for more news updates. And thanks to our 12 o'clock news break writer, Francine Boras. And on the technical side, Chad Bobis. And of course, to our Provincial Information Officer, Mary Luduga Castillo. Get well soon, Madam. And under the supervision of our Governor, Edsel Grex Lagman. I am Greg Hallare. Thank you for subscribing.